Holmes fired his construction crews with disturbing frequency. Contractors would work for weeks, then suddenly receive termination notices and final payments. New teams would arrive, only to find themselves building additions to work they couldn't understand. Architects lasted even shorter periods. Some quit after reviewing Holmes's bizarre floor plans. Others were dismissed the moment they began asking questions about the building's strange specifications. This constant rotation wasn't incompetence or financial trouble. Holmes deliberately kept any single person from understanding the building's complete design. The completed structure defied logical architecture. The first floor housed legitimate businesses, including Holmes's pharmacy and various shops rented to unsuspecting merchants. But contemporary reports and later sensational press accounts described the upper floors as containing soundproof rooms with no windows that could only be locked from the outside, secret passages connecting guest rooms to Holmes's private chambers, and facilities allegedly used to dispose of bodies. Investigators later found evidence of chemical equipment and instruments tied to dismemberment, though some specific features were likely exaggerated by the press. Holmes had designed what reports described as a kiln and disposal system. Chutes built into the walls could allegedly transport corpses directly from guest rooms to the basement. Some rooms contained trapdoors that dropped victims into the basement, where Holmes had constructed what appeared to be a torture chamber. The basement also housed Holmes's bone articulation equipment. His medical training had taught him the precise techniques for cleaning skeletons and preparing them for sale to medical schools across the country. Holmes realized early that death could be profitable in multiple ways. The 1893 Chicago World's Fair brought 6 months of perfect hunting conditions. Holmes advertised his hotel as affordable lodging for female visitors traveling alone to the exposition. He specifically targeted wealthy women who had traveled long distances to attend the fair. These victims were unlikely to be missed quickly, and their families would assume they were still enjoying their Chicago vacation. Holmes employed psychological manipulation with surgical precision, presenting himself as a successful doctor and businessman, using his medical credentials to establish trust with potential victims. The hotel's guests often commented on strange sounds during the night. Muffled screams echoed through the walls. Footsteps could be heard in rooms that were supposedly empty. Gas odors occasionally seeped under doors, but Holmes always provided reasonable explanations. Construction work caused the noises. Gas leaks were being repaired. Guests were instructed to keep their windows closed for their own safety. After Holmes's arrest in 1894 for insurance fraud, investigators began mapping the building's true layout. They discovered rooms where the walls were scorched from fire. They found scratches on the inside of chambers where victims had clawed at the walls trying to escape. Bloodstains covered floors throughout the upper levels despite Holmes's attempts to clean them. The basement revealed surgical instruments designed for dismembering human bodies, chemical equipment for flesh removal and bone preparation, and shipping crates with addressed labels for medical schools in several states. Determining Holmes's exact victim count proved impossible. Holmes later confessed to over 200 killings, but investigators and historians find hard evidence for a much smaller number. Only a handful are firmly substantiated through physical evidence and documented disappearances. Many victims had traveled to Chicago alone, making it difficult for investigators to identify missing persons. The acid baths had eliminated most physical evidence, and Holmes destroyed guest registers and financial records before his arrest. Holmes's systematic approach to murder established a template that future serial killers would follow. He demonstrated how careful planning could enable mass murder while avoiding detection. He showed that psychological manipulation could be more effective than physical force for controlling victims. The murder castle operated for less than 2 years, but its impact on criminal methodology lasted much longer. Holmes had transformed killing from a crime of passion into an industrial process. It's important to note that the murder castle mythology was significantly amplified by newspapers of the time, which sensationalized many details to sell papers. While Holmes was undoubtedly a killer who used his building for sinister purposes, some of the more elaborate descriptions of his methods may have been embellished by contemporary media hungry for shocking stories. Yet even accounting for sensationalism, the documented evidence reveals a mind capable of extraordinary calculation and cruelty. Holmes had created something unprecedented in American crime, a purpose-built facility for systematic murder that would haunt the public imagination for generations.